All right. This one comes from r/relationship advice posted 1 month ago. My 31 female husband, 32 male, has been killing my houseplants with bleach.
What?
I have many, many houseplants and even some that were quite expensive and were gifts for my sister. Within the last 6 months, at least a third of my plants have died. I have had houseplants my whole life due to my late mother's own love of houseplants, and I know a lot about plants. The death of the plants didn't seem related to lack of light or inconsistent watering or lack of nutrients or even root rot. They just died very suddenly. I tried to not let it upset me too much because plants die, and it was not any of the expensive ones until now. My sister gave me a 5-leaf Monstera alba rooted plant for my birthday 2 months ago. It was beautiful. This morning I was crying pretty hard about it as I unpotted it and took a look at the roots, and I was looking hard at this plant and roots to see if its death was pest related, and that's when I noticed a smell. I sniffed my potting mix and I smelled bleach. The only other adult in my home with unlimited and unobserved access to my plants is my husband. I wasn't able to talk to him for several hours, but when I could speak to him, I very calmly but very directly asked if he had something to do with my plants. He denied at first. I said that I smelled bleach in the potting mix of my alba my sister had gotten me, and that the only person that could have put it in there was him, and he caved. He said he was putting small amounts of bleach into the fertilizer water jugs I prepare. I started crying. I asked him why. Why would you do this? You know I love these plants. Why would you destroy them? He didn't really answer, nor did he really apologize. The trust I had in him is absolutely gone. I think maybe counseling can help us, but he is the one that did this. But I'm the one that would have to set up the counseling. The angry part of me just wants to be done with this relationship. I know that might seem overboard as we are married and share a child, but I feel now that I'm not safe around my husband.
Yeah, I don't think that's overboard. Like, I understand that it's a plant, but it's like the principle. Like, you are actively destroying something that your wife is working very hard for. You know she loves it. You have no reasoning for why you're doing it. You can't even tell her what your plan was. So, like, that's messed up and absolutely divorce worthy, because how long is it going to take until he's putting antifreeze in your fucking lunch bottle or your drink or something like that? Like, until he's going into your body. Like, if he thinks he can just do that, like, with no explanation, like, that's messed up. I would not be able to trust you after that either. It's like, you know that I love this. I work so hard for it. And you're literally actively, secretly destroying it. Like, also, like, buddy, what do you think's going to happen? You think she's just going to let the plants die and not replace them? Plants die. People that love plants, they're going to replace the plants.
Exactly.
Like, if you don't like the plants, have a conversation with your wife about how you don't like plants.
Yeah.
And how maybe, like, can she keep it down, like, one or two?
Person.
And, like, maybe the house is getting too many of them or something like that. Like, communication. Have a conversation. You just go and destroy stuff like that. Messed up. You can't do that.
Yep. No, I totally agree. It's something that's so, like, not really like a huge deal, but it is. Like, at the same time it is, because it's like, why are you doing that? Like, it's so sinister in a way. Like,
malicious.
It's very malicious. Yeah.
And, like, you don't even have a reasoning. You can't even explain why you're doing
or
it. Or apologize.
She was crying.
Yeah, that means a lot to her. Like, what the heck?
So we looked it up, and this plant can be worth up to $5,000. It's a very rare plant, like the specific one that her sister got her.
One with giant leaves. We'll put a picture up on here for all the YouTube listeners and viewers.
It's insane. I didn't know plants were worth this much ever, but it doesn't matter. Even if it wasn't an expensive plant, even if it was like a
dollar store, what doesn't matter? You are actively destroying something that your significant other loves. What is wrong with you?
Yeah. So there's an edit. I thank everyone for giving me advice. The townhome we live in is mine and my sister's, our inheritance from my mother. My husband has an office/den/gaming room that is his personal space, and there are no plants there. There are also no plants in the kitchen. I'm not a plant hoarder. Like he has a room for himself, I also have a sunroom, and that is where the concentration of plants live. He has no reason to go in there. It's no access to our backyard or anything. I saw some people saying maybe he's sick of bugs, but I do not have fungus gnat problems. I did see one person ask why I did not smell the bleach when I was watering, and I can only say my nose wasn't all up in there maybe. I also usually use a natural systemic in my fertilizer water called SNS-209 that smells heavily of rosemary, but I ran out last month and haven't replaced yet. After our convo yesterday, I needed space. I spent the night in my daughter's room on a tundral bed. I'm going to text my husband today. He usually communicates easier and opens up more via text rather than face to face. I'm going to ask for a reason and I'll see what he says.
Husband sounds like a bitch. First off, your house, he moved in with you. He didn't help you purchase the house. Buddy, get the fuck out. You have your own fucking room. The plants are literally in their own plant room. So it's not even like the plants are fucking everywhere. They're in the living room, in the kitchen. I can't stand it. I'm going to do this. Like, you would never have to look at them unless you go into that room. So like you are maliciously doing this. For some reason, you're a piece of shit who's doing this. Why? Why would you be doing that at all?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think it's very weird that he opens up more via text rather than face to face.
Red flag.
That's a huge red flag. Like, that's fucking weird. You can't talk to your husband face to face. You would rather text him?
I'd be kicking my significant other out of the house, especially if it's my house and you moved in with me.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like there's vibes that like you moved in with me and like we didn't do this together and everything. Man, my mom was a huge plant person. We would always go down to the States and we would be in like Arizona and she would go and like dig up a cactus, plot it, bring it back. So we had cactuses all over the house. We had ferns all over the house. There was plants in like her bedroom had 2 plants. I didn't want plants, so there's no plants in my bedroom. Like, our bedrooms are up to us. She didn't put plants into our bedrooms, but she had them everywhere. Like, we had a lot of places in our house. We had like double ceilings in our house. It was like really high ceilings. So there was like lots of shelves kind of like above the closets. Then there was like a shelf space for there's plants everywhere.
Yeah.
There's high up on near the ceilings. There's plant ledges that were like built in when the people were like constructing them. And during my childhood, it was always my job to water the plants. Watering the plants was just one of my jobs. It was one of my chores that I had to do. And some of these plants, like I had to like climb up with this water thing.
Yeah.
Like literally climbing up. Like the ceilings were twice as high. I had to like climb up like 10 feet high up to these ceilings. I remember these big 3 fern plants. And every time I was up there, the leaves would start shaking off of them. So I'd have to like water the plants and then I had to vacuum up everything. Cause like whenever, there was always drying leaves off them. And it was always my job. Above the kitchen, there was a shelf above the kitchen where all the trophies were. There's plants up there, plants above the fridge, plants on those shelves, plants over here, like 10 plus shelves. And I used to always have to water the plants. Always was watering the plants.
That's a lot of work.
It was a lot of work.
That's why we have fake plants.
We do have fake plant. Yeah. The tree behind Teresa.
Fake. Couldn't tell.
Yeah. It's too much to keep watering. Teresa's always wants flowers and we have had plants. We used to have plants on our shelf in the living room. I think like back in the first episodes, like episode 1 or 2, I think we hadn't done that change yet. So I think there was kind of plants there still. They might have been fake at that time, but Teresa would never water them.
No, we had the plant. We had the pictures.
No. Because I remember in like episode 2 or 3 or 4, we were like, look at the change we did. We did those pictures after. Pictures.
We had the Christmas pictures.
Maybe you're right.
Yes,
but whatever. More of the story is that we had real plants and Teresa just wouldn't water them. And then they would die.
I was neglectful.
She's like, I want these plants. These plants are so cute. And go through all this effort to do this plants and all these holders and stuff. And then like, I'm like, hey, babe, your plant looks dead. She's like, oh yeah, I haven't watered it in 2 months. I'm like, oh, no wonder. Why don't you just buy some fake plants if you want green, but you can't water your plants? So she bought fake plants.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
Okay, there's another edit.
Another edit.
Yep.
Hope she kicked him out.
My husband won't be welcome in my home anymore.
Fuck yeah.
And I need to find a lawyer ASAP on Monday. I did text him and he admitted again to putting bleach in my fertilizer water. He says it wasn't every jug I ever made, so that explains why it wasn't all my plants dying, but randomly over the past 6 months. His exact words were that I deserve to be knocked down a peg.
What the fuck?
After the text communication, I went home from work early and I entered his office. I usually respect his space absolutely. I don't even go in there to grab dirty dishes. I don't know what I was looking for, but the hundreds of comments saying he was working up to something worse or already was doing something else really worried me. I went in there and found a drawer full of my daughter's dolls and dollhouse furniture and little toys. I bought her that dollhouse for her 4th birthday last year, and she has loved it. She takes such good care of her toys, but something always ends up missing, and it's always my husband who notices. He lectures her about keeping track of her things and how he won't let her play with her dollhouse if she keeps losing her things. He keeps going till she starts to sob. When I hear this going on, I always step in and ask him to go take a break. I assumed he was losing his cool. I've told him this is not how to deal with this with a kid, and he says he just wants her to grow up and be responsible. I now see it was some kind of weird scheme or some setup or something. He would steal the stuff and stash it away and point out it was gone to berate our daughter till she cried. My sister and her husband's dad came over this afternoon and they've changed the locks. I've texted him to tell him he isn't coming back and that he can come on Saturday morning to grab his essential things, but that my brother-in-law and another man would be there to watch.
This is wild. What? This dude's sadistic.
Yep.
This dude's twisted. I'm going to take my kid's toys away from her and then yell at her that she lost the toys. This dude is messed up in the head. I would never have anything to do with him again. I was saying when she was going into his office, I was gonna say something else, but what else is he planning? Like, if you're like I said, like, who knows until it ends up in your food? Like, I needed to knock you down a peg. Like, what? How can you marry someone and then have that like lack of respect for them? Where like, I need to knock you down a peg. Like you hate them or something. And then like, what else are you gonna do? The plants weren't enough. I need to knock her down more. That reminds me of that story that we listened to like a long time ago of like manipulation and making somebody rely on you and stuff. I forget what it was called, but like that is so messed up. I was going to say like I would go into his office and I would go in. He says he's a gamer. Mm-hmm. Save files, deleted, delete all the save files and stuff like that.
I wouldn't.
Knock you down a peg.
I'm scared of him. He's terrifying.
He kind of is terrifying.
I would never
I would change the locks and I would lock him out. I honestly would sell the house. I'd move.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, you would be on edge all the time.
You never know.
He is actually crazy. Like, she is so lucky she found out this early on, like now, because it was going to get worse.
100%. For sure.
Like, what else did he have planned?
Yeah.
There's no way, like, someone with that mindset, like, just stops it there. You know, like, he definitely had bigger plans, and that is so scary to think about. Like, I'm so glad that she found out, and it was just something, like, minor, like, plants dying, and it didn't escalate.
Could have been worse.
Yeah.
So much worse. Like, yeah, that's changed the locks, and that's almost, like, depending on how his interactions are in the future, like, maybe even a move and no longer give him your address. How would that work with, like, custody? Like if
I think in court you could probably prove that he was a freaking psychopath.
But what if the court still says that he gets custody on the weekends? Does him having custody on the weekends mean that he has to know where you live and where his daughter lives?
Probably. I don't know.
Right? Because if it's like, I'll bring my daughter to this location on the weekends, but you don't get to know where we live.
I'm not sure.
I feel like when you have a legal right to your child, you have a legal right to know where they are living.
I think so.
So I feel like that's like hard to get away from.
But I don't know if like the courts would grant him access.
Yeah, well, you have to have enough proof. Like he's only put bleach in plants. So as far as the court goes, possibly it could escalate. But like what has actually happened
also,
is just
I don't know, the stealing the daughter's toys.
But still, those are like signs of it. But like as far as the courts goes, like you haven't really done anything. You're a shit parent and you've been killing plants.
Yeah.
But that's not like.
I don't know. It's subjective to the judge, I guess.
Yeah, subjective to the judge. But I just don't think it's that to warrant the full custody. You're not losing. You're still getting part-time custody. That's so messed up, though.
Yeah, this one was scary. There's absolutely no comments or updates from OP. This was posted a month ago. So.
Hope she's okay.
Yeah, I hope she's okay. I'm going to turn my alerts on for this one.
Yeah, I'll do that. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Wow. That was not where I expected that to go. That was like an all-timer. I don't know. That was like one of the best stories that we've ever read. There was a good twist at the end. Daughter's toys stuck in there. But yeah, I'd be going into his office and like either deleting the save files or literally lighting his gaming and computer on fire and smashing it.
I wouldn't do anything to piss him off because I don't know what he's capable of.
You already pissed him off by kicking him out of the house.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. Top comment. I don't know your partner. Hopefully you do, but proceed with great caution. You might want to give this a read. And it's a link to the I found my partner has been putting slugs in my food. I don't know how to forgive him.
What?
That's the one that I thought about.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing that story.
Yeah. That one, like, I literally thought of that.
I just need to take you down a peg.
Yeah. Crazy. There's freaking
crazy people out there. There's crazy people.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, divorce.
Yeah, a divorce. Divorce and ghosted.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, I'm blocking you off of everything. I'm ghosting you.
Yeah. So scary.
Oh my
Heebie-jeebies.
gosh. Yeah. That's like, I'm going to put a secret tracker on your car just so I know that you're not around me. That's like, I'm going to install a tracker on you so that I can guarantee that you are not near me.
Yeah, that's smart. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, let's move along.
Let's move along.